Alright, I'm going to get this distributor out of the way. It's got an oil leak, so I got to rebuild it anyway, take it off. Come along with me as I remove a distributor from a 4AGE. Ah, easy as that. Alright, so this is the distributor here. Now all I've done is taken this cap off. Now I'll take these two screws out. Alright, so there's an O-ring in here which is missing. Boy, it was there, but it's all hard and brittle and time for a new one. So I've got this rebuild kit here. I'm just going to give this a good clean. We want to pull this cap off. Should be able to get that off by hand. That will come off. Then we need to undo the screws in here to get the electrics out of the way. Alright, there's two more screws down below which hold the rest of the wiring in. Now there's two screws down in here. They are the bearing retainers, and they can be pretty hard to undo. Oh, jeez. One. Alright, there's no pin in the gear here, so I should just be able to pull this straight up. Alright, so we've just got a scratch mark here opposite the middle of this gap and a scratch mark opposite this tooth. So now we can pull this gear all the way off. Alright, we've got that gear off now, so this will allow us to get the shaft out. Should hit out pretty easily, just use something soft. There we go. Now we've got an oil seal that came with it here. Bearing which gets replaced, and then the rest just stays. Now the measurement from the tip to the bearing is 72 mil. Now we can pull this bearing off. Alright, I'm just going to give this a quick clean. Alright, everything's clean. We can put the new bearing on. Alright, we are at that 72mm measurement. Next we want to install the seal down on here. Always put a bit of grease on, inside and outside. Now you can see the little cavity in here, whereas on the back side it's flat. The cavity faces down towards the gear, away from the rotor. Now you should just be able to press that in with your finger, no need for any tools or anything like that. And then we can grab our shaft, just grease it up a little bit. Yeah, it just slid right in. Now we put the bearing retainers back in. And make sure they're spun around correctly so that they're actually retaining the bearing. Do those back up tight. There we are, there's the retainers. Now we can put the electrics back in. Alright, that's still spinning freely. Alright, the gear's getting close to where it should be. This is going to be 8mm. From the face of the gear to the tip. It's got 7 there, so one more tap should do it. Beautiful. Alright, now all that's left is to put this O-ring on and the O-ring in here. Now we just want to make sure that that's clean. Grab some of the assembly lube. And that O-ring should be protruding past the metal just by a little bit. Now that we've got this O-ring in, we can reassemble the top end. Some writing here, it says wire, so that arrow points to the wires. Put this back on the only way it can go. Lube up this big O-ring. Last thing to do is just chuck this heat shield on. Alright, there we have it, one rebuilt 4AGE red top distributor. We throw this back in the car and it's happy days.